Hello, everyone. My name is Myeashea, and I am the Commitments Manager here at CGIU. In addition to being a CGIU staff member, I'm a 2010 alumni and have been one of the mentors for the Arts and Media's Keyword Group since 2013. I've worked as a creative professional, and I'm a trained filmmaker, trained anthropologist, and a science communicator. In every instance of my personal and professional career, storytelling has been a vital form of communication for me. And when you think about it, it's likely been a vital component of your life as well. We're all storytellers in one way or another. It's the way that we communicate our experiences and transfer information and traditions and preserve and share our histories and connect with each other. In fact, what you see right here is a collection of pictures and images that tell a story about me. It tells a story about me as a science communicator and as a filmmaker, and it shows some of the creative professional work that I've done, and it also shows a community that I'm quite proud to be a part of, and that's the CGIU community. Storytelling is a really powerful way to communicate and can transform how we share our professional goals. And it's also a really effective way to drive and motivate action. Social impact storytelling is really about the way that we talk about what and why we do what we do and how we get others motivated to join our efforts. In fact, in the year 2000, a study was done by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and it revealed that effective storytelling does have the power to actually redirect our beliefs and our willingness to act. So when we talk about storytelling for social impact, we're talking about how we use storytelling strategically. When you start working out a storytelling plan for your project, there are some key questions that you want to start to ask yourself. And we'll be talking about some of those key questions, ideas, and structures today. What will your strategy be? Creating a narrative for your social impact project should communicate your goals, speak to the concerns and interests of your target audience, and it needs to be relatable. It also needs to be compelling, memorable, and motivating. You'll also need to consider what format and guidelines that you'll use to design and craft your content. Are you sharing your story informally at a networking event? If so, you'll probably be working on an elevator pitch. Are you giving a speech or sharing your pitch deck with a potential investor? Maybe you're setting up your website and social media and you want to tell people what you're about. You'll need to you'll need to find a multitude of ways to share your mission, your vision, motivation, idea, and plans consistently and energetically. So even though you might have one consistent story, you may have that consistent story exist in many different forms. So let's talk about structure. Your storytelling structure is pretty basic: beginning, middle, and end. However, an effective storytelling framework will also connect your personal story or the story of specific individuals with a larger idea or concept. Using a personal or specific anecdote that helps to illustrate why you and your team are motivated to act or solve a certain problem can help your audience emotionally connect with your idea or your mission. This connection is incredibly valuable and can bring about an empathetic response, and that's what you really want. It can help to illustrate the larger and or more abstract concern or a problem that you're seeking to address. So imagine I was starting a literacy program. If I said to you, I'm starting a literacy program because 30% of adults over the age of 35 in Myeashea land can't read. This is a sad story, and a few people might share the anecdote, but it isn't exactly going to galvanize a movement for literacy in the town of Myeashea land. So, what if I tried a different approach? How about if I said, "Hello, my name is Jeannie Mae Doe, and 3 years ago, I made cookies that accidentally poisoned my sister. I poured in a cup of toxic washing powder instead of sugar because I couldn't read the label properly. While my sister was able to get treated and recover, I knew that I never wanted to make that mistake again, and I never wanted to cause another incident like that. So I decided to learn to read. Because there were no formal literacy programs in Myeashea land, I had to go 2 towns over, a trip that took me 2 hours each way for weekly lessons. I soon discovered that I was one of 450 Myeashea Landians, which is about 30% of the citizens in my community, who couldn't read. And that's when I decided to start Doe Literacy Association. This is a type of narrative in which a plot is structured with a beginning, with movement toward a desired goal, an unexpected event, a crisis that engages our curiosity, choices made in response to that crisis, and an outcome. Stories are important because they teach us how to act and they inspire us to act. Now, the story I told works because it communicates my values as a lived experience rather than an abstract idea. And the more that you communicate this specificity, the more power your story will have to engage others. It drew from my life, or Ginny May's life, and built the key points that detail the challenges that were faced, choices that were made, and the outcomes that were experienced. It explains why I've been called to do a job. I also included some data and statistics in a way that enhanced and informed my motivation rather than a way that was too technical or overwhelming. So the next thing I would do to enhance my story would be to add some information, some facts, some statistics, or metric oriented information about my organization and our impact on the challenge that I'm seeking to address. And that might sound like, now, in our third year of operation, Doe Literacy has accomplished a number of benchmarks that I am very proud to share with you today. We've had over 200 students between the ages of 18 and 60 complete our literacy program. Of those students, more than half continue to volunteer and teach at our organization. And with the help of a local college, we've created our Book to Bachelor's program that has helped 35 students gain literacy and writing skills and then move into college degree programs. Just this month, we celebrated our first 9 graduates, who included a 60-year-old grandma of 4 and me. So this middle section is intended to illustrate the impact of my efforts and something that has changed about me and my life. But I also want the audience to now connect to my journey and to feel proud of me. These accomplishments imply that I've put in work, stayed focused and diligent, and showed my abilities as a leader. So next, I want to come in with an ask. And this is where I start to outline what's next and how my audience can help me do it. So I might say something like, as proud as I am of Doe literacy, there's still a lot more work to be done. Our focus has been largely geared towards adult learners. However, we have to tackle illiteracy with our younger citizens. A recent study conducted in Myeashea indicated that 50% of our high school freshmen drop out due to the struggles with reading comprehension. We need to start younger. So we are introducing a new program for kids 6 through 17, and with your help, we can improve literacy and life outcomes. Our program needs, and this is an opportunity for me to list what I need for my audience to do in order to help my efforts. Hopefully, by them connecting with my story and hearing about the outcomes and the work that I've already done, they'll be motivated to figure out ways that they are able to help based on what I'm asking for. I might ask for $1,000 more. Then I need to say why. 20 volunteers. Then I need to say what those volunteers do. Now, this format is great for a speech or a lecture of some kind. However, what if you need to tell your story on social media, maybe like Twitter or Instagram? Well, if you've taken the time to develop your key points, social media can help communicate your values. Images, short videos, well-crafted tweets can all play a role in presenting small windows of information that tells people who you are and what you're about. Review the feeds of some of your favorite organizations and even some of your favorite brands. Do they present commentary on social issues, or do they stick to information and news about their brand and the subject matter? Are they primarily visual communicators posting content that only displays them in action? What about the tone of voice? Are they using a more professional or informal tone, softer or more stoic? And how do these choices inform how you think, feel, or engage with that organization? For Jeannie May of Doe Literacy, she knows her audience is local and not likely to have an advanced education. So her social media might incorporate infographics and images to help communicate visually. Video would be great. Her organization's tone should be warm and understanding, non-judgmental, and welcoming, because it can be very vulnerable to not be able to read or to be illiterate in some way. She may feel comfortable referencing local history or myths because the target audience is local. However, if she decides to expand beyond Myeashea land, those references may be less accessible to a wider audience. So remember, your goal in storytelling for social impact is to not just tell the story of your project, but to get people to connect and to be inspired towards action. Whether the action is to work, give, or share with your mission, or to act on behalf of a larger concern like famine, climate change, or animal welfare, whatever it is, you want what inspired you to act to inspire others. So when we can be specific, we allow others to connect with us. These connections is where we find common ground and others see themselves in our shoes or can connect to times when they've shared similar challenges. And there's also a lot of bravery that comes with sharing your story and saying, here's what I was, and saying, here's what I was about. This is where I was tested. I stumbled, I struggled, and now here I am. Who else has been there, or who else can relate and will stand with me? Who will act with me? And will you answer my call to action? Then, regardless of the format or the structure, you'll need to ask, does this image, graphic, tweet, whatever it is, serve my mission, the values? Does it communicate the call to action? If not, what are my reasons for sharing it? If Doe Literacy suddenly started sharing posts about astronomy, you'd be confused unless they stated what the astronomy post had to do with the organization. Most people have a wide range of interests, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those interests intersect. It doesn't mean that we can't share them though, but if we do, we need to think about how it serves the narrative or our mission. So if Jeannie Mae loves to bake, she may say, I'll start sharing favorite recipes so that we can practice how we can use our reading skills to perform everyday tasks like shopping and cooking. That's on brand and a really fun way to engage. So when storytelling for social impact, we want to first spend time considering our strategy. And when we can share the challenges, passions, and journeys in a way that is authentic and true and also inspiring, we can connect to other people, and hopefully those other people will feel really excited about joining us on our individual missions. So let's look at this format one more time. And hopefully this will be the start of you telling your story and your narrative for your project.